This is a story called The Little Monsters Part 3, The Chickenpox Outbreak. It's September and the kids are desperate to get out of school so that they can go and play on the park all day. Then Creeper comes up with an idea and she said to the others, "I know, we can all pretend that we have a bad tummy ache because we've all eaten too much and we need to go home." Grumpy said, "Oh, that sounds like a good idea, and I can pretend to be grumpier than I usually am." Stumpy said, "I haven't eaten too much, I'm still hungry." Kicker kicked him hard, making him cry out in pain. Then she said, "You have to pretend, Stumpy, or I'll kick you again a lot harder than I just did." All right, I'll pretend," said Stumpy. "Good, now we all need to look sad like we really are sick, because if we don't it won't work. Then I will kick you all really hard," said Kicker. The kids went inside and approached Mrs. Applejack. "Oh dear, what's the matter with you all? Why are you all looking so sad?" asked Mrs. Applejack. Kicker told her, "We're sick, miss. We all have a really bad tummy ache." "Oh no, I hope you haven't all caught a tummy bug," said Mrs. Applejack. Grumpy told her, "Oh no, miss. We all ate too much for breakfast and we need to go home so we can rest, miss." "Well, if you've all eaten too much, then it's your own fault that you all have a tummy ache. I won't be sending you home. Now I want all of you to go and sit down, please." Kicker kicked the rest of the gang really hard and called them all idiots. Mrs. Applejack saw her and she said to her, "Kicker, I will not have that kind of behaviour in my classroom. Now apologise to everyone and then stand in the corner and face the wall, please." Kicker did as she was told. Later that day at playtime, the kids came up with another plan. "I know, we can tell Miss that we really do have a stomach bug and that we all feel really poorly," Grumpy said to the others. At the end of playtime, when the bell rang for them to go back inside, the gang went in rubbing their tummies and moaning and groaning. "Oh dear, what's the matter with you kids now?" asked Mrs. Applejack. Grumpy answered, saying, "Oh miss, we're really poorly now." "What's the matter with you all, Grumpy?" asked Mrs. Applejack. "We have a tummy bug, miss. It's really bad, miss, and we need to go home," Grumpy told Mrs. Applejack. "I know you're all faking it. Now go and sit down and get on with your work, please," Mrs. Applejack said to the kids. "Oh, but miss, we really are sick," Grumpy said to Mrs. Applejack. "Grumpy, I told you to go and sit down and get on with your work. Now do as you're told, please," Mrs. Applejack said to Grumpy. "Oh, but miss, we really are sick," moaned Grumpy. "Grumpy, I've told you all to go and sit down. Now do it please, all of you," said Mrs. Applejack. The kids did as they were told, but they knew they had to come up with a plan to get out of school. Mrs. Applejack heard them talking. "I hope you kids aren't planning on making up another excuse to get out of school, because it won't work. Now stop talking and get on with your work, please, all of you," said Mrs. Applejack. The next few days it did nothing but rain, so the kids couldn't play on the park. However, about a week after the kids had faked having a tummy bug, they decided to fake having another illness. This time they said that they couldn't talk because they had laryngitis. Mrs. Applejack was off sick and the teacher was a substitute teacher, and she fell for the kids' excuse hook, line and sinker and sent them home. Later that day at lunchtime she saw the kids playing on the park. She sent one of the other kids over to get them. They came back to school and the substitute teacher made them write, "I must not lie to the teacher to get out of school 200 times. Then she gave them all extra homework to do. A few days later, Mrs. Applejack came back and the kids were really pleased to see her back. However, that day was a nice, bright, sunny day, and as usual the gang wanted to be outside playing. Kicker said to the others, "We need to think of something really good that Mrs. Applejack will believe. When we do, when she lets us go home, we can't play on the park near the school, because she will see us. We'll have to go to another park." Bumpy replied, saying, "Yes, but what are we going to tell her?" Then Stampy said, "I know, my cousin has the chicken pox. We could draw spots on ourselves and pretend that we have the chicken pox too. She'd believe us then." "Good idea, Stampy," said Stumpy. The kids drew spots on themselves and then they went in to Mrs. Applejack. "Oh no, what's the matter with you kids? You're all covered in spots," said Mrs. Applejack. Kicker said, "We don't know, miss. We were all fine this morning. Stampy was with his cousin yesterday and he had the chicken pox. We think Stampy has got it from him and we've got it from Stampy. Oh dear, I think you kids better go home before anyone else gets it. Come back when you're all better," said Mrs. Applejack. What the kids didn't realise was that Mrs. Applejack didn't really believe them. She knew exactly what they were up to and she phoned their parents. The kids went and played on a park away from school where they thought no one would see them. However, they were soon proved wrong when their parents came looking for them. Stampy's mum was looking after his little cousin who had the chicken pox and she brought him with her. All of the kids' mothers grabbed them by their ears and dragged them home. When they got home they were all smacked hard on their bums and sent to bed early with no tea or supper. When their dads got home they were all punished even more when they found out what they'd been up to. All the parents couldn't help but laugh secretly at their kids. The following day was Saturday and the kids had planned to meet up but they weren't allowed to because they were all grounded. On the following Monday the kids went back to school and after about half an hour Mrs. Applejack noticed Stampy scratching himself all over. She told him to stop but he couldn't. When she looked, all the other kids from the Little Monsters gang were scratching too. She went and looked at them and this time she knew that they really did have the chicken pox. She rang their parents and they came and picked them up. They couldn't help but laugh and tell the kids it was their own fault. However, the following day all the other kids came into school constantly scratching and they had also got the chicken pox. Soon after that Mrs. Applejack started scratching too and she soon realised that she also had the chicken pox. This led to the gang being punished even further because they lied about having the illness and when they woke up with it their parents didn't believe them. End of part 3. Thank you. Bye.